Great. Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for the opportunity you've given us as the elected officials and the residents of our community to meet together and address issues in our county. Pray for guidance and wisdom as we move forward, and for all this in Jesus' name. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I'll be sitting in for Adam. He's incapacitated, so like chair, I guess I get to take care of that. So we can have a roll call, please.
Get,
Here.
Johnson,
Here.
Brumman, here, Small.
Here. Approve the minutes from the November 15th, 2023 regular meeting.
So moved.
Second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Now at 1:30, which is where we're at, we have a public hearing, truth and taxation, public hearing. Oh, that's true. Yeah, we need to go into that. So I'll take a motion to recess our regular meeting to go into our truth and taxation hearing. Carolyn? Second. Seconded by Dave. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Now do we need a motion to go into the truth and taxation hearing, or that's by motion? I don't remember. Okay. I hereby call the motion truth and taxation hearing open, and in order to receive any comments from the public. Don't know if online public is allowed to comment, but anybody in the room, public?
Do you want me to explain it, or?
Sure, if you want to give a quick, and that might give somebody a chance to.
Truth in taxation, it allows you to collect the maximum amount. It's easiest way to say is like, last year, our taxable value was 830. And then minus losses, and then you take this year's taxable minus any additions. And you come up with a rollback, kind of like Headley, where it'd be rolled back. But you want to collect the max, I'm assuming. So if you have too much, you can take the rollback. So I'm assuming that you want the maximum amount. So last year, it would have been 0.9471, but you added, so it brings it up to 1, so there is no rollback. It's similar to Headley in the rollback, but in Headley, you don't have a choice on that. So, I mean, if you want more information on it, you're more than welcome to come to equalization, we can sit down and look at it in more detail. See what the actual number is. You wouldn't have it till we balance with everybody, because we're not balanced with everybody, so you don't know what the rollback, or even, and of course, it doesn't exceed 1, you can't go up. So, but normally it's less than 1, so it just allows you to collect the maximum amount. Bottom line, so if you have any questions, I'll be in there today for a little bit. But you all have my number, so if you have any questions or you have errands or whatever, we'd be more than glad to answer questions.
Any questions from here? Again, any public that would like to comment? Hearing none. We close the hearing. I don't think, can we do that? Do we have to do that in a regular meeting, or do we do it? I think we should do that in a meeting, or it's a resolution.
It's under new business.
Yeah. So, hearing no other comments, I would call the hearing closed and ask for a motion to end our recess and re-enter our regular meeting, or go back into regular session. Support. Support. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We're now back in our regular meeting. If you'd like to do this,
We need a roll call.
oh, we need a roll call once we come back into reset. Rena?
Small,
Here.
Brumman, here, Johnson,
Here.
yes.
Here.
Lost
All right, my goodness. Okay, I'm back now. All right, back in order for our regular meeting. We do have the truth and taxation resolution to be voted on later in new business. If we're fine with that, we'll move ahead. Public comment, limit 3 minutes per person. Please identify yourself and the information, both online or in here. right, hearing none, we'll move on to presentations. Jennifer?
Hello.
Hi.
The 23rd Circuit First District Recovery Court that serves Alcona County, Iosco County, Ford County, Aransas County has been awarded a $60,000 grant from the State Court Administrative Offices, Michigan, Michigan Drug Court Grant Program. In order for us to draw from that or execute it, we need the chair to sign it electronically. And I have until December 16th for that to be accomplished. And I'm requesting the board approve the chairman to sign this grant to accept it.
I would, well, someone make a motion to do it and then we'll talk about it.
Make the motion.
Motion by Terry, seconded by Dave, that we approve the signing of this. Any discussion? We'll cost allocate it.
You can only use cost allocation as a match for the 25% of the total. I appreciate your request.
Perseverance, I think.
Yeah,
Polite way to say it. Any other discussion?
It's just smiles.
I would be happy to.
All right, hearing none, we'll vote on this, I think we need a resolution, so all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
It's a resolution, I think.
Is it a resolution?
Isn't it a resolution?
I don't think so.
It may not be.
The motion is what, to receive this, to receive the grant from such and such,
You
right?
just need to allow the chair to sign.
I would say.
Okay. So all those in favor said aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? I'm an aye. Ed?
Yep.
Oh, motion carries.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Have a good day. Hi.
All right. Now the presentations, did have a couple changes to the agenda. We're gonna pull off the job application approval. Had a few more comments and inquiries, so we're gonna remove that from the agenda. And like to add closed session for union negotiation discussions, probably at the end, if that would be all right. Oh, and a motion, what are we gonna call that motion? Stipend motion. We'll put that, yeah, we'll put it right before the closed session. Okay. All right. So unfinished business, there is none, new business claims.
I'll make a motion to approve pre-authorized claims and open claims presented for payment between 11/15 of 23 and 12/05 of 23 for check numbers 152-419 to 152-637 and e-checks 2241 to 2259 for a grand total of $671,738.96.
Support.
You've been supported, discussion? Hearing none, roll call please.
Brumman.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yeah.
Small.
Yes.
Next item, truth and taxation. Having completed our truth and taxation hearing, we will now vote on a resolution as you find in your packet, 2023-020, and I've always read these, so I'll read it again. Taxing jurisdiction of Alcona County has complied with the requirements of MCL 211-24E in order to levy an operating rate which exceeds the base rate. Alcona County has complied with by holding a truth and taxation hearing held on Wednesday, December 6th at 1:30 p.m. So that would be our resolution. We would accept the motion now to do that. I guess I moved it. I did it. I moved it.
You move?
Yeah, I read it, so I moved it. Supported by Carolyn. Any other discussion? If not, roll call please.
Small.
Yes.
Brumman.
Yes.
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 Johnson.
Yes. All right, next item, let's go to Wordsmith Authority Board appointments. I think I saw in our packet, we had a recommendation from Jamie Downs, who I believe is the director at the Airport Authority. So I'd entertain a motion to reappoint. If so be, or appoint somebody new, I would assume there's an opening Is that, okay.
Our two terms expire in January.
I assume you want it. Want to get on, stay. I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Okay, moved by Carrie, seconded by Dave to appoint Carolyn Bowman to the School to Wordsmith Airport Authority Joint Zoning Board.
And she'll.
And Sheila Phillips.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that one. I saw her name here. I
And
thought
I.
she wrote the. So you're with Sheila too, right? You-
Or a two-year term.
Yeah, so the and that.
Okay.
It was from Sheila.
Got it.
It's a 2-year term.
All right. Does the board want to do them separately or both together is fine?
Join is fine.
Okay. So Dave, you reflect that, right? You know, you're good with second. Okay. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item, Millen Township contract for Sheriff's Department services. So,
Sure, yeah.
yep, he is. We get a motion for this first? Get a motion and we talk about it if we can. Anybody? I'll motion that we approve the contract for Millen Township. Second. Supported, discussion?
What is the criteria for all to be made to the sheriff?
Yep. So I'm gonna defer as the sheriff has just stepped in, so any,
I didn't.
what's the criteria? Go ahead, ask it.
What would cause someone in, well, the liaison is a,
Yeah.
what would cause that liaison to call you? To call the office, sheriff's office?
To back up, the complaints we're talking about are noise complaints in Lone Township, but the liaison would contact me if there's concerns about the contract or concerns about, enforcement activity associated with that. But, complaints would be generated just like citizen complaints of any nature in my office.
Oh, so it's, your citizen would call 911.
If it's a noise related, any.
They call no matter what.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But the liaison acts as a liaison between me and him about enforcement activity and about the terms of. the
He's the
contract.
so-called daily liaison, he's not incident liaison.
Right.
Okay.
You know, unless something gets related to him directly, I guess he would be the liaison in that respect.
Initially, yeah, appreciate it. All right. I have been part of conversations with other attempts at noise control. And this may be wrong information, or maybe it needs to be updated. In those conversations in the past, one of the biggest criteria was to have a, proper title, and I don't remember the proper title, but something, basically a decimeter that told you what the level of noise was. Does that type of thing still exist?
Not in this, the way they wrote their ordinance, it doesn't, there's no decibel level associated with it, it's more of a subjective level. And a reoccurrence of that,
So it's judgmental
it was just now, yep,
on the part of the caller.
of the college, right? And I think it takes into consideration the discretion of the officer and the lives and hears that noise. This ordinance, that I looked at that they adopted mirrors what they're doing at Osceola Township and a lot of other ones. So I think it's probably something that's put out by, what's it-
NTA or something.
MTA, yeah, that runs the townships, it gives them their direction on ordinances. They approached me, several of the townships approached me via their supervisors about 2 years ago about trying to do something countywide. The prosecutor and I looked at it pretty close at that point, and it's not appropriate to do a county ordinance for that, nor does the county have the authority to bring down laws like that or ordinances. So we declined and kicked the ball back into the township's court. And told them that they were gonna have to adopt their own ordinances and figure out a way to enforce that. And here in Alcona County, there are no other enforcement agencies other than mine. And, for a township to get me to, enforce that, there has to be an agreement in place, of which is very similar to what I gave you. Otherwise, we can't enforce their ordinances. That's kind of the background on all of that.
In computing the cost, the hourly cost, was there, and if so, how, was there consideration of cost of driving out, wear and tear on the vehicle and those types of things?
Vehicle I did not, I didn't put any mileage into that, but I did consider the time associated with responding and investigating along with quality time. So those are all based on hourly rate that factors in, not just the hourly pay rate of the salary,
Right,
but also
right.
the benefits associated with that. And that pay rate, mirrors what I've done with the city of Harrisville.
Okay, so would I be correct in thinking that there was no, and I don't mean this to be mean, but
No,
cost of, for, not the person, cost of the equipment to respond was not a factor in the determination of the cost.
the one that I put in the contract.
And just looking for understanding.
Yeah. And in all fairness, I did give this to the prosecutor to review earlier in the month, and he just hasn't had the opportunity yet, and to have lunch with him at that point, he had to do that.
And this is the only township. We have the city of Harrisville as a noise ordinance, but this would be the first township.
Right, right. The city does have their own, and theirs is a little bit more specific to loud vehicles. Matter of fact, I believe it was written for one particular person back in the day when it was written. But, they do, and we do contract with them to provide services here in the city above and beyond what we currently do. There were, when this came about, there were, 3 and maybe 4 other townships that were interested. They haven't followed up on this with me at this point, like no township.
How many calls does Harrisville have? Not many.
For noise?
Yes.
No, not really at all. And I suspect there's gonna be very, very few, no. And as far as enforcement goes on this, my office responds to all calls for service. So we're gonna get this call, we're gonna take it anyways. We're gonna take it anyways, we're gonna go out there, and what happens is we say, hey, can you turn it down, or can you stop this dog from barking, or turn off your machinery at night, or whatever the situation is. And the next question is, well, what if I don't? And our answer is, well, there's no noise ordinance, so I'm just kind of out here with the goodness of my heart asking you to do it, and please do it, and if you don't, quite honestly, they can tell us to pack sand and turn around and leave, and that's really what we have to do. We had quite a situation in Curtis Township a few years ago where that was happening on a regular basis, and it just, the guy was doing it just to be obnoxious to the neighbors. And the point we're out there 2 or 3 times a night, because we're going anyways, but we didn't have that citation availability in our back pocket to end it at that point. Would it end it? Hey, we're gonna leave, and they may turn it back up. But when they get the summons and they have to come in and explain to the judge why they kept doing that, it may cut it down for the next time. It ain't fixing it that night all the time.
In 4A1, use of the word prior. It has an implication that it could be prior even to that document.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. And,
Thank you.
so we handle the same thing with dog violations. That's pretty much our enforcement, practice for dog violations. If you have a dog running loose or a barking dog or anything of that nature, our people both cite on the first time. We usually get a warning or 2 before we do that. I think that's probably appropriate for a noise ordinance or a noise violations like we do.
Well, my approach on this appears to be the desire of those folks living in Miller. It is not, it is not inappropriate. If that's what they want, that's what they want to live with. So who am I living in another township?
I believe your township will probably be one of the next ones to approach me about this. As a matter of fact, they have.
About twice a year.
Yeah, they already have, so they have already adopted this ordinance in Nolan Township. What they haven't got in place is an enforcement mechanism. So I think probably, fortunately or unfortunately, this may be putting me over the edge where we have more townships coming to me. I don't mind enforcing it. We're gonna go out on these complaints anyways. If we're able to bill for it, we're gonna bill for it.
That's what you will.
Because we're going anyways. We really don't.
Thank
That was
you.
my question. I mean, we have disturbing the peace, right? So you're gonna go, if somebody's making them. So you're going anyway. So are we,
Yeah.
there's gonna be a little more involved in this citation writing, dealing with the town, that's where the money comes. That's what, we're
Yeah.
doing something more than just going and saying, hey, you're bugging your neighbor, quiet it down.
Right.
We're gonna end up going.
There's gonna be a billing process.
So does that put us, so now the liability is on the township, they wrote the ordinance. But if they gotta go into court and an officer's gotta go, you're gonna bill them for that too?
Yes.
Put that in here?
That's in there too. What it leads me to the next point is that, our prosecutors are not able to prosecute these, so these township attorneys have to prosecute them themselves. And in Nolan's case, they talked to their attorney who actually wrote their ordinance, and he's gonna prosecute them.
Okay.
Or dismiss them, or however,
So it'll be a civil fine or something, or?
Civil correction, yeah.
Okay. I just wanted the public to be aware, you're still going out to every other township if there's a disturbance.
You made a point there a second ago about disturbing the peace, and these noise complaints on private property, they don't qualify for the state law of disturbing the peace or public disturbance. Those laws are written for public places specifically, so you can't be disturbing the peace on your own property. It has to be a public meeting or a public place or a street, things of that nature.
Mhm. That's good for everybody to know. I'm pretty sure everybody probably thought you could disturb the peace. My
Yeah, they do.
neighbor can disturb my
Right,
peace.
They do.
Yeah.
So we don't need a motion, we're just,
Yeah, we need to enter an agreement with the
Chairman, if
county.
you're ready for it, I would move that we authorize the chair or the chair's representative to sign the agreement between, the law enforcement agreement between Alcona County, Alcona County Sheriff and Nolan Township.
Seconded.
And by, Barry? I think we already had it, but
No, I mean,
any other questions or comments? Not, well, roll call, please.
Yes,
yes.
Small,
yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Burns.
All right, thank you. I remember the conversation that you're talking about. So if we did have the equipment, what does that just make the case a little more airtight?
Yeah, what we're talking about is a decibel meter.
Yeah.
And the complication with decibel meters is they're relying on the right distance away from the sound.
Lots of variables.
Yeah, there's some variables associated with it. Decibel meters are more for, equipment and machines and vehicles. And, when I worked for the Forest Service, we would measure decibels from so many feet away from the exhaust pipe. And we actually had a string, so we would attach to the exhaust pipe and hold the decibel meter this far away. And if it was above that reading, so there's some other things. And it's certainly, it's a great point you brought up about the subjective language about the noise. And it does leave it somewhat up to the complainant. Again, if it goes to court, the complainant's gonna have to come in and explain why they thought it was obnoxious or above what was.
Well, we all know that once a year at least on the 4th of July, you guys get a lot of calls, so that'll do
Especially.
In New Year's.
in New Year's, yeah.
And periodically throughout the year.
Yeah. Okay. Move on, we have, the marijuana operation oversight grant, 2024 applicant. We have something of me on that.
Pardon?
You asked me something of that.
I made a statement that I was going to advocate for.
There you go.
There's no motion on taking it, we need to table.
Right. Right, well, do you wanna just remove it from the agenda and as we did with the job application and not even, that we don't,
That will work for me.
and bring it back on when we can? There's no objections on the board to.
What was the reasoning, or you were not prepared to speak?
We don't have the necessary paperwork for the 23 grant from the health department. And if this keeps going on, ultimately, we could end up at some point holding the bag. We need to get the appropriate paperwork for the 23, which is a little overdue, so I understand. As of last week, it was my understanding that we did not have the appropriate paperwork to close out the 23 grant. And I would like to have that closed out with proper paperwork before we enter into the 24 grant. But I think there's something in here also. They have to be submitted by January 1st. And so it's gonna have to be done at the next meeting or not done at all.
And we're waiting for this paperwork from
Department of Health.
Pardon?
Department of Health.
Well, if there's unanimous consent, I'm fine with pulling it off the agenda and bring it on 2 weeks.
That works.
Everybody fine with that? Okay. So we'll pull that off.
I could not have voted yes as it is.
Keep us from muddying the waters. All right, let's go to finance reports, personnel and treasurers, then we'll come back to the closed session. Is that fair with everybody?
And I have a motion for finance report.
Okay,
So,
got it. So, oh, and we had to add, yeah, I'm sorry. We'll do the finance report and then we'll vote on that stipend. Okay. Finance report, Dave.
First, I would like to move to authorize the finance committee with concurrence of the treasurer to make necessary year-end adjustments to line items, activities, and funds as needed and report same to full board as appropriate for vote of approval for the year 23.
yeah, and it authorizes, from my perspective, support. It authorizes them to do it, and I don't like, I put it in there, but I don't like the verbiage. Report to the for a vote of confidence or a vote of approval from the full board, because this motion gives
Give the
me that.
approval.
But just maybe, a report saying to full board for general information or something. I don't wanna,
Is that a request to amend the motion or?
if that would be a great
That's fine.
to make our
Instead of a vote for approval, the
information.
reports same to the full board. What,
Upon completion.
upon completion? Yeah, instead of,
I don't wanna have
Approval.
pure that their hands are
sure,
tied.
upon completion. Is that fair?
Yep.
Could we be your seconder? Okay, any other
I support.
Yep.
If necessary.
Any other discussion? This is done every year, so that we don't have to be here on the last day of the year doing stuff that only the treasurer does. That's only fair. Sorry. All right, any other comments? If not, we'll vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. In addition, finance report, you have anything else?
Did you want to make that motion then? Or?
I don't have it. Do I have it? Okay. I'll read it. I'll make it. Based on the extra work of design and implementation for both the chimney rehab and the creation of a holding cell within the county building, there was an excessive amount of time and energy and there was no contractor willing to take on the necessary work. Despite numerous attempts to get a business to come in and do the work, no one would submit a contract for that reason. Says I guess it's gonna be me. I moved to transfer $1,000 from line 101-265-941-000 to line 101-265-073-000. This will provide a stipend of $500.
This was more.
Oh, okay, that's gone.
This is where it goes to,
All right,
instead of that one right there.
all right, so it's a line change.
Yes.
So, this will, provides a stipend of $500 to Dave Hanson, our, building and grounds manager for each of those two projects, that are done under cost and in a timely manner. So, I've seen a motion. There's a motion, any discussion? I know, and I know Dave's on building and grounds, but he can speak to it more. There was a dramatic cost for the chimney, and the upstairs
It will save.
that was saved, yeah. So-
Yeah, it was a very huge project, even the holding cell, and I think with this court case going on, it's worked out tremendously. The time savings were just back and forth. Transporting. And back and forth.
If you're looking for a comment, I think the security's been increased tremendously as a result of the holding cell. and the walls.
Come together well.
Yeah.
You mean,
It's not done, but I'll tell you what, it's saved us a lot of, time and effort to keep this together.
But, and it'll be used future. I mean, it's gonna be utilized a lot. I didn't realize the time, I knew you did it, but anytime there's any little break, you have to take them across the street and then back, and whoever it is, now you don't have to.
Or somewhere, and unfortunately, in the past, we didn't always take them back across to a secure cell, we've taken them to a lot, there's a small office called the law library, and we'll up there, and it's secure. Yeah, working very well.
Yep.
Thank you.
And it saved a lot of time too, didn't it? Just between person conferences,
Yes.
judge
And
and.
yes.
All right, any other comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Want to do a roll call? Sure, roll call, please.
Small,
Yes.
Brumman,
Yes,
Johnston,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
You wanna write in the correct numbers and stuff right here, you can take it. Okay, that's a few, Trina, that can be.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And you have more to continue?
I do. I would like to, increase the library, amended budget by $40,089. To a total of $607,655 from 567, 566.
So we're adjusting bottom line.
Yes.
There's support,
support.
discussion?
The reasoning is they had some issues that had to go on, heating issues, I believe, with
The
the
full fund
library.
balance is what,
They pulled from their fund balance, increased the bottom line of their fund balance, and also they had received, a significant amount of new revenue that was unanticipated, that they had not originally budgeted for. So they've actually increased, they only had to take a small portion, 23, from their amended budget because they had so much revenue that came in on top of what they had expected with the Curtis Library being a part of their system now. So they've taken in quite a bit more revenue, which is why that large increase.
thank you, thanks for that explanation. All right, any other questions? Hearing none, the roll call this budget amendment,
Yax,
Yes.
Brumman,
Yes,
Johnston,
yes.
Small.
Yes.
Anything else?
And that is all on finance.
Personnel report?
Most things in closed session.
Yeah, we are gonna have to address some things in closed session, or at least get some guidance from the board, so, see, I can't think of anything that talk about here at this time. Nope. Oh, other than the job application, that was a lot, we did that a little bit, so. Treasurer's report?
November 30th was the final day to pay before the posting in the newspaper for the properties that are going into forfeiture and foreclosure for next year. We've had, in the past, we've sent out bills 8 times a year. This year, we went to the statutory schedule, which the notifications go out 5 times a year, so we've kind of slowed down on our payments. But saving the postage on 1,500 bills per month, we felt like it was justified. We're still meeting the local requirements with all the information and getting a hold of the people. Phone calls have increased, because those notifications went out with that deadline. Just a side note, when they are posted in the paper, they are not foreclosed, they're not, this is trying to find the people who can get in touch with someone if they don't know about it, so they have an opportunity to pay. We are not in the business of foreclosing on properties, we're trying to keep people in their homes and with their properties. And we will work with anyone, and there's a lot of programs, and they can contact us at any time to find out how they can avoid foreclosure. And so this is more of an informational for the public who has an issue with their property. Other than that, we've been working on budgets and, taking in, quite a bit of year-end revenue. We are at about 87% of our revenues have been collected. And generally, we do get about 10 to 20% between now and January. Sometimes February, depending on when all the reports get in for all the different entities, so. Looking fairly stable for the end of the year, and I think we'll have, a good start for next year. Does anyone have any questions?
The guess is we'll hit revenue numbers that we budgeted for at 87% now, almost.
1 month left.
That'd be good.
Once we get our analysis done for the end of the year, we'll be able to see a little, and all the departments who have sent out invoices and bills, get those forwarded to the treasurer's office, so we know what to expect. We'll have as soon as we can get those numbers in, then we'll have a better idea of what to expect for the end of the year, and we won't know that until we have our audit, which we also need to address. I was approached by Anderson and Tackman. If your intention is to utilize them for this year, they had discussed. It was discussed. I don't know what your pleasure is, but we will definitely need
You do
to.
that by next meeting, probably,
That
for
would be
sure,
good.
get somebody in line. Right. Right, anything else?
This is mine.
For me too. Well, this is personnel, right? Is that the job? at
The Michigan Work?
Michigan Works?
Yeah, this is gonna be part of my clerk's report.
Okay, clerk's report.
Michigan Works did come in and sit down with Stephanie, just wanted to give some information to the board regarding posting any job openings with the county. It's free, so just another service we can think about if we need to in the future. We are currently working on preparations for the 2024 presidential primary. That's gonna be on February 27th. We do have the 9 days of early voting on that, so we're working on getting ready for that. We've also had that ongoing journey trial that we expect to continue for up to another 2 weeks. And that's all we have to report. Any questions?
Yeah, I had one now. I can't remember. Yeah, something to do with them. What did you first report on? I'm sorry.
The
Oh,
job
Michigan.
posting,
Yeah.
Michigan Works.
Yeah, I just want to comment that Michigan, I was at the meeting just recently. Well, yesterday, 2 days ago. And they seem to have a lot of information out there in programs. If
Yeah.
you need an employee there, they will want you on contact.
Yeah, we've got some really good highlights here, so definitely an option we can use.
Good. Anything else? Good. All right, we're gonna reach the communications and such, but we should probably go back to our closed session, I would think, before we finish that up. The court, that's the court would have told me. There was some unfinished business, that I had forgotten that I did get it. Finally, I hadn't received it and they sent it. So if you all remember the BEA that we needed for 222 Second Street, which was the veterans property, did finally get done. I got it emailed to me. So that's here, and if you want to look at all the pages, I'll email it to you. I'll get it printed and you'll put it in your office. That way, Trina, so you
Okay.
have it in that file. Just want to let everybody know. I have not seen the usage one or the best practices or whatever.
I understand, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I didn't mean to interrupt, but
Oh,
I understand they're testing for testing those around.
PFAS, I think they are, yeah. Not, yes, well, on that one spot, they found it was the
Yeah.
veterans property, so that triggered a bunch of other checks around, but,
No report on that.
no, I don't know if we would even, well, we probably would see that as a neighboring piece of property, let us know what the results were, if they found one, but. So, sorry to bounce back, but I just thought of that unfinished business. With nothing, if we want to continue down through and then go back to our closed session, does the board have any?
Yeah. Reports.
Okay, let's go to communications, MSU invite, Michigan Works. I saw MSU here. Do you have anything or?
I did not.
Okay.
I just came because I haven't been here in a couple of months and it just so happened that this is on the agenda, so.
Yeah, okay. So the MSU invite, Michigan Works, I didn't actually read it. I found them, so I don't know what that was about, but you guys have the ability to do that on your own. Committee reports, Dave?
I was at a Northern Michigan Association of Counties meeting this week. Actually, we had a tour of the Cook Dam, Nascoda. And I guess some of the updates we got, because I mean, as everyone knows, they are working and trying to decide what they're going to do with the future of these dams. They have three options. They're either going to decommission them and put it back to natural, relicense them, or sell them. I think just the way they were talking, I mean, they would like to probably keep them. But there's $1 billion in upgrades. They have a 50-year life expectancy. The Cook Dam was built in 1911. So it's a little past 50 years. But with that, they said if we do that route, every customer will have a $3.60 a month surcharge, the entire customer base, whether or not they get electricity from this or any of them. So, but they did say that they have interest in people maybe purchasing it. They thought no one would even think about it, but they have had, interest in that. So they're still, I mean, in a listening period, so just kind of keep an update on everyone, what's going on there.
Eric?
Michigan Works, I did attend a meeting the other day with them. Nothing. It was more of a year-end. End of give out all the information that they had. It was a multi-meeting, so very informative. I agree. That's all.
Kelly?
211, we are still working on our budget, kind of down to the nitty gritty, but we still are working on it. It's going to go out to the executive board. Hopefully within about 5 to 7 business days. We started the review for the new executive director. It is not told, it's finished. We haven't presented it to her yet. ACCWA, if you haven't heard, the new president as of last meeting is Bill Potter. There is no December meeting, although we are still working on the budget. We've got a meeting coming up and probably actually 2 meetings coming up regarding the budget. 911's January meeting is the 9th rather than the 2nd because we're closed, and the consensus was we will acknowledge and live with that close and have our meeting on the 9th. Nemery has rescheduled their meeting to January 8th, Monday. EMT has pushed back the EMT training that's going to be taking place for a couple of months due to scheduling with other training that's going on. And that's primary stuff.
Okay, veterans, so if you've been to Lincoln, last time I was there, the walls were up. Did the trustees get up yet?
The 8th, I think they come this Friday.
So had a meeting, we talked about that and, we're ongoing, venture with building that building. Things seem to be going pretty decent. The weather's holding, so that's good. You do all get the minutes, right, from their meeting?
Once in a while, but not always.
I'd have to check with Steph.
I know I did, and I thought Steph got them, but we should probably forward them. I didn't bring one, I would explain, I mean, there was 67 contacts and phone calls and everything that happened, so maybe we just forward them to the board from now on.
Yeah. I can check.
Thanks. Parks and Rec, so, this is gonna end up being a new business at some point. Parks and Rec's doing fine if they get snow, which is what they need to blade to make snowmobile trails. But a discussion happened with, the ARA site on who, so right now, and this went back, I don't know when I was still chair, I think we appointed, or I did, or somebody did appoint Kevin to be the ARA site manager, and he still does that, and does a good job. However, the Parks and Rec board to a person said, we don't want nothing to do with managing. The way it was set up was that the ARA answers to the Parks and Rec, and then the Parks and Rec answers to this board. And they have said, we don't want nothing to do with it. And Kevin's doing a good job, but at the same time, needs oversight on what things, I think this year he did the budget. The board didn't really do a budget. Nobody did a budget. So I think we're gonna have to take a look at what we do to manage the ARA site. And Parks and Rec Committee has issues too going into the new year. I know that's been an ongoing
Drama.
thorn, I guess, drama, you name it, it's been going on since 17. So we need, that's gotta get taken care of, so coming forward, think about how we wanna manage the RA site, there's, there's needs and there's monies and there's, things that are happening there. And I think there needs to be a board overseeing it at some point in some way, and that board does not wanna do it, so.
But the board of commissioners has been the oversight for the ARA site.
Well, that's what I thought.
Technically, they
Yeah,
have.
they are.
They have, because we've heard nothing has ever been brought forward from the Park and Rec Committee in regards to the ARA site. It's always been from this board.
Yeah.
The
And I,
budget comes from this board,
yep,
everything.
and to me, I thought it was, we had done something with that, the Parks and Rec oversaw all the parks and recreation, and that was one of them. So maybe I don't know if it just got skipped, it doesn't matter if it got skipped, because they don't want nothing to do with it, until we see the board there that is interested in doing more than just snowmobiling, and they do a great job at their snowmobiling stuff, but they're not interested in doing other parks and rec things in the county, so that's, yeah, I'd like to tackle that in the new year.
Does that go along with the Park and Rec plan?
Yeah. But, so well, maybe the new guys don't, the Parks and Rec plan is this great big plan that has been sitting there forever. It would be nice to have a Parks and Rec board that was interested in working on a Parks and Rec plan. These guys are not interested in that, they just want to make sure the snowmobile trails are done. So for that reason, I'm hoping, I have a few names that we'd like to appoint to that board. I'd kind of warned them of that when I went back in there in the spring, that we're gonna try to get some new blood on this board and develop a real Parks and Rec board and see how it goes. And there's a little apprehension, but I think it could work. I think it would be fine. And just somebody who has an interest in doing some of this Parks and Rec stuff. We're leaving a lot of money on the table from DNR and others that should be, or could be coming to us. That's a real big synopsis of that, but just want to lay the groundwork for fun is coming. So that's the end of my dramas. Any other comments? All right, we'll wait on public comment, because in case we come back, I don't foresee us making any things out of closed session without Adam being here, so I doubt if there'll be any business or any votes that come back for public comment to comment on, but we should leave it, I think, in case there is something that we make, any kind of, movement on after the closed session, so. Seeing nothing else on the agenda, I would, entertain a motion to recess for 10 minutes. I declare. So it's so moved.
They can drop it. They can drop it.
Could, call the roll there.
Yes.
Here.
Johnson.
Here.
Brumman. Mom.
Here. President accounted for, very good. Entertain a motion to go into closed session for union discussions.
So support.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. All right, don't shut that door all the way, Scott. Call the meeting back to order, roll call please.
Yax,
Here.
Johnson,
Here.
Brumman,
Yes,
Moore.
Here.
All right.
Do we need
Meeting
a
back in
motion?
order, so, oh, we have a motion to,
Do we need a motion to go back into session or just a roll call?
motion to,
we're back in order.
we're back in session, okay. So public comment? Hearing none, seeing none? Commissioners, additional comments and concerns
We need to make the motion.
for, oh, I'm sorry.
Yes.
What do you mean?
For, to extend the part-time.
So motion by you, Terry, to do what?
To continue,
Extend the part-time,
yes, until full, part-time aides,
Part-time EMS,
to full staff.
until full staffing. Until
Obtained.
it is obtained and or reviewed.
I'll second it.
seconded by Yax.
Do you want me to restate that one?
Could you one more time?
One more time?
Motion to extend part-time EMS.
To, let's see,
Yes, and I'll be right back.
so I'm drawing blanks, I'm sorry.
Extend a part-time wage, extend
Until. full
time and a
staff.
half, part-time wages until till
Fully staffed.
EMS is full staff.
Okay.
Okay.
Seconded by Dave.
Okay.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Commissioners, additional comments and concerns? Hearing none? Call the meeting adjourned at 4:50. 3:50, sorry.
And I would like to move that we direct our,
Hold on. So we're adjourned and we'll
I would like
mute
to
in a
move that
second.
we direct our IT man to get rid of that blank copier.